Riley Dog Industries reported the following results from the sale of 7,600 boxes of deluxe hair color in May. Okay, so what do we see on the screen? Sales were $304,000, variable cost were $182,400. Fixed costs were $60,000, so net income was $61,600. Now, down below, I've just put this in Excel so that we can, have Excel do the math for us, okay? All right. So let's go through the steps of what's required to answer the question. And here's the question. Assume Riley Dog increases the selling price of its product by 10% on June 1st. How many boxes will have to be sold in June to maintain the same level of net income? All right. We need to know a few things. First off, the quantity sold was 7,600. They gave that to us. Let's calculate the selling price per unit. We simply take the sales divided by the quantity sold. Okay, if we needed to calculate variable cost, we would take, this slid over. Let me slide back so you can see that. Variable cost, we would take the variable cost dollars and divide it by the quantity sold. Okay, now let's go through the steps on how to solve this. Let me slide back up at the top. Step 1, we'll go through all of these here. And I'm going to slide a little bit down so you can see the full screen now. All right. Step 1, we're going to hold net income constant because that's what they're saying. Fixed cost would remain the same. That's step 2. All right. So at this point, we really could calculate contribution margin by adding these two together. But let's go through it by step so we can see how we solve this. All right, step 3 and 4, calculate the new selling price. And we'll calculate the selling price per unit and the new selling price. All right, we already knew the old selling price was $40 per unit. So we just simply increase that by 10%. Take the $40 times 1.10 or 1.1, you get $44. Okay, now recognize variable cost won't change. We're only changing the selling price. We've already calculated the variable cost. We did need to know that. We want to hold that constant because we need to know the contribution margin per unit, which we simply take selling price less variable cost. Now that we know the contribution margin per unit, we can calculate the contribution margin percentage, which is simply the contribution margin per unit divided by the selling price per unit. All right, once we have that, we can calculate break-even by using the break-even formula. Now we're using target income. Break-even and target income are closely related in that what you're going to do is you're going to take the fixed cost divided by the contribution margin dollars or percentage. That's for break-even. For target sales, you're going to add in the numerator the net income or the target income, target operating income. Add both of these together and divide it by the contribution margin. Once we do that, we now know what the sales are in total dollars. Okay, now we could force the other information in here, but we really don't need to because what they're asking for is how many boxes would need to be sold. Well, now we can come up with our final answer. Just take the sales dollars, which is in cell D16, 267, 520, and divide it by the new selling price. Okay, we do that, we get 6,080. Now, you could fill in the rest if you want. Take the 6,080 times the variable cost per unit. Okay, what's the difference? We should be very close to $60,000, or excuse me, to the contribution 121,600. Then we subtract the 60,000 to get net income of 61,600. Okay, so this is how we would solve this one, and really the only The answer we're looking for is this cell right here. Let me highlight that. Okay, 6,080 units. And that's an approximate amount, right? If you didn't use 45.45, you used 45%, you're going to get a slightly different number. Okay, hope you found this helpful.